Sri Lanka, an island shaped like a pendant on a necklace, full of lush and diverse landscapes. It is a unique blend of food, cultures, and religions, and the warmest, friendliest people I have ever had the privilege to encounter. It was nearly a year ago that the tsunami came crashing into the southeastern coast. Leaving behind a trail of destruction that went up the western coast almost to the capital city of Colombo. Six months later, I found myself in Sri Lanka's south, where the tsunami had hit hard.
The aftermath of this tsunami, it was still very prevalent. A lot of destruction and building rubble, bricks just sort of strewn in fields where houses used to be, entire 30-foot palm trees blown down, coconut trees blown down, a real sense of temporary shelters, camps still created. Also a lot of makeshift graveyards and some fresh mounds along the highway where people had recovered bodies and just buried them where they were. The project that I was working on with SAPTRI while I was there was to go into communities, and they talked to me about their personal experiences and just, you know, looking in their eyes and just the sadness and just the helplessness, and thinking what I wouldn't give to be able to make this better for them.
I'm Sara Maki, age 26, and completing my master's in international relations at the University of Sussex in Brighton, England. From the time I was a teenager, I have felt called to work in international development, to study for this, and to volunteer wherever I could, especially for World Accord, an organization in my hometown. When the tsunami hit the country sitting along the edges of the Indian Ocean, I volunteered to go and help out for a month in Sri Lanka. Now, it is a full year since this tsunami, and I am on my way back for the second time. Once again, I have an assignment from World Accord, but this one will be the biggest challenge of my life. So we've seen the orthodox, we've seen the revisionist views of why the Cold War happened. This version looks a little bit more at the Russian Revolution as sort of creating the preconditions. Sometimes I stand back, amazed at how my life is unfolding. As a teenager, I organized fundraisers for third world causes. This led me to a degree in international studies and volunteering for a local organization called World Accord, and to its director, Terry Fielder.
There are two universities in town, so it's not unusual for us to have university students call us, and that's how Sara came to us. Sara Maki phoned one day and said, I'd like to volunteer.
I first met Terry when I began volunteering at World Accord. The minute I walked into the door, he welcomed me and, you know, wanted to know about me and what I was doing and what I was interested in, and he brings in always the personal element. People matter.
Sara, volunteered to go to Central America and do her own internship program without any financial assistance from anyone, us or the government or anyone. Studied some Spanish and then went to Guatemala. Went in as a volunteer at our Spanish partner in Guatemala, Mujeres en Acción.
I was able to learn a lot about what World Accord is all about in terms of how they pursue development projects and how they were doing that at a really grassroots level. It's a really good learning opportunity.
She left a good impression and was a good representative of Canada and Canadians abroad. And so we're quite anxious to keep our relationship with Sara alive.
It has been an evolution and it's been a growing relationship. I don't think I ever would have guessed that the things that I've gotten out of World Accord and where I am today would have ever come from me walking in that building for the first time and saying, how can I help?
Volunteering, studying, working, thinking, doing. For me, it all goes into the goal of being of service in the global context. Where exactly it is all leading to, I never know. I pursued the possibility of coming here to Brighton to take part in the Master's Program for International Studies. And then, in December 2004, the tsunami hit. Like the rest of the world, I was horrified. With my studies in Brighton to start several months later, I had some time in my schedule. I had to find a way to help out directly. I gave Terry Fielder at World Accord a call.
She asked, is there anything I can do to help World Accord in one of your project partners somewhere in Asia? And we immediately thought of Sri Lanka. The reconstruction was beginning, there was still a lot of damage around, and she went in and worked in some of the communities in the south and east primarily, helping them to recover from the damage and to help the organizations spend the disaster response money they received as wisely and well as they could.
World Accord put me in touch with its former Sri Lankan partner, South Asian Partnership Sri Lanka, also known as SAPSRI. It did not take me long to realize that SAPSRI's philosophy was similar to the one that World Accord had shared with me for so many years. People are the champions of their own development. They are the experts, their own agents of change. They had worked well together many years earlier, but then World Accord's funding had dried up and they had to say goodbye. Now, thanks to the generosity of World Accord's donors reacting to the tsunami, the relationship was being rekindled.
All it took was one email down to Sri Lanka after the tsunami and back from them, and we were back right where we left off in 1995. The agencies, the organizations, the leaders, the human resources of the people, the friends that we had were still there. So now we were building a new friendship. This is a whole new era for World Accord, and Sara, for us, is right on the front of that.